In life, there comes a point where circumstance, fate, or desperation forces a person to cross a line they never thought they would. It's in these moments that the true nature of an individual is revealed, often in ways they themselves could never have anticipated. Sometimes it's the weight of the world closing in, financial ruin, the fear of death, the anxiety of irrelevance. Other times, it's the intoxicating lure of power. Power once tested demands more. People bend their morals and justify their actions, all in the name of a greater goal. Yet, it's not external forces but internal desires, ego, fear, and the need for recognition that push them towards decisions they never thought they could make. Walter White's story is a powerful example. A man driven by desperation, he soon finds himself consumed by the pursuit of power. But his journey is not unique. It's a reflection of a universal truth, the corrupting force of ambition and the human cost of crossing the line when rules no longer apply. So today, we are talking about the 5 rules of Walter White, the guiding principles that shaped his transformation from a desperate man into the formidable figure of Heisenberg. But before we move on, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Rule number 1. Always stay in control. Walter's entire journey is defined by his obsession with control. As a high school chemistry teacher, he feels powerless, trapped by a mundane job, financial struggles, and his terminal cancer diagnosis. Cooking meth becomes an outlet for him to seize control of his fate and assert him in a world where he once felt invisible. As Heisenberg, Walter meticulously plans every move, constantly ensuring that he is one step ahead of his enemies. This control is not limited to his dealings with the cartel or his rivals, but extends into his personal life, where he manipulates his family to maintain dominance, his desire to control from deep-seated feelings of inadequacy, and a lifetime of missed opportunities. The more he tests control, the more addicted he becomes to it, and his refusal to let go of this power ultimately drives him into darker and more dangerous decisions. Rule number 2. Never let emotions cloud judgment. Throughout his transformation, Walter compartmentalizes his emotions, believing that to survive in the drug world, he must suppress them. This cold detachment becomes a survival mechanism, allowing him to justify increasingly horrific actions like poisoning a child or orchestrating the deaths of his enemies. Walter convinces himself that emotions are weakness and acting on them would put him at risk. Early in the series, Walter is a caring, loving father and a husband. But as he becomes Heisenberg, he pushes those emotions aside to focus on his empire. His relationship with Jesse Pinkman is perhaps the most telling example of this conflict. Jesse often represents the emotional core of their partnership. But when it comes down to preserving his empire, Walter ruthlessly exploits Jesse's vulnerabilities, manipulating him to serve his own interests. By disconnecting from his emotions, Walter justifies the morally reprehensible choices that allow him to climb to the top. Rule number 3. Eliminate all threats. Walter's survival instinct is strong, and over time it morphs into a relentless need to eliminate any threat, real or perceived, that stands in his way. Initially, this rule is about ensuring his and his family's safety, but as his ego grows, so does his definition of threat. Whether it's rival like Gus Fring, former partners like Mike, Walter deals with them in a calculated and often brutal manner. The shift from protecting his family to protecting his empire reveals a deeper truth. Walter isn't just killing for survival, he's killing to protect his power and ego. Each elimination reinforces his sense of control and superiority by removing those who challenge him. Walter ensures that he remains the ultimate authority in his world. This rule underscores his descent into moral decay as he becomes willing to destroy anyone who threatens his carefully constructed empire, no matter how close they are to him. Rule number 4. Always have a backup plan. Walter's genius as a chemist is mirrored in his ability to plan ahead. His background is science, where precision and foresight are key, where he consistently prepares for worst-case scenarios, whether it's installing a hidden machine gun in the trunk of a car, devising a ricin poison scheme, or creating a fake confession video. Walter's mind is always working to ensure his survival. This level of foresight is what separates Walter from other criminals in the meth world. His ability to anticipate the moves of his enemies and counter them is the key to his success. Yet, this meticulous planning also reveals his growing paranoia and need for absolute control. Each backup plan is a reflection of his belief that he can outsmart anyone, but it also isolates him further. The more he plans, the less he trusts those around him. Rule number 5. Family comes first until it doesn't. Walter begins his journey with a clear motive to provide for his family after his death. His cancer diagnosis puts him in a position where he feels he has nothing to lose, and he decides to use his skills in chemistry to secure a future for his wife and children. This selfless act becomes the justification for his descent into the drug trade, and for a while it appears that his motivations are pure. However, as Walter's ego and need for power grow, his priorities shift. His family, once the reason he turned to crime, begins to fall by the wayside. Skylar becomes a pawn in his game, and his relationship with his children suffer as he prioritizes his empire over their well-being. In the end, his claim that he did it for the family is revealed to be a lie. He did it for himself. In his final moments, he admits this truth, acknowledging the empire he built was about his own pride and satisfaction. By exploring these rules, we can better understand how Walter White evolves from a desperate man seeking to help his family into a power-hungry individual driven by ego, pride, and a desire for control. His transformation is both tragic and terrifying, revealing the depths of human ambition and the moral compromises we make when power becomes the ultimate goal. What other rules do you believe shaped his transformation? Share your thoughts in the comments below.